and welcome. You're watching the NewsHour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Today, Union Minister Smriti Irani, in conversation with Times Now, was the first top minister from the centre to speak at length on the hijab round. And she was unequivocal in calling out those who are piggybacking on the hijab issue to use unsuspecting children as pawns for politics. Recalling her own experience as the student in a convent school, she detailed how no religious symbol was allowed when everyone was in uniform, and hence there was no insistence by anyone on displaying one either. The message was clear. There is no compromising with dignity and constitutionality, and no one should try and cross the line for their political intent.
So I did not go to a regular school, I went to a convent school. And I think that when managements and systems are set in place which are inundated by legal prospects, one needs to recognize that when we attach ourselves to an institution, we attach ourselves to the value system and the codes and the ethics and the practices of that particular institution. Again, I'm speaking from my own personal experience. So I'm again reiterating to you, the government is committed to upholding the constitutional responsibility towards its citizens. There can be no two ways about it. However, this is a sub judice issue. I can only appeal through you to people to maintain calm and peace, and not to encourage breakdown of law and order, and to maintain respect towards women, irrespective of their religion, caste or creed. And I'm saying this personally and as a minister. I do not support Mrs. Vadra's statement of wearing a bikini to school. I will not make political slurs for headlines. I have consistently maintained I support the right of women to choose what they want to wear, how they want to live. Again, I will reiterate, the government will never deter from its constitutional responsibilities or the constitutional path that we are sworn to undertake. When I went to school, I did not wear the bikini. When I went to school, I was not allowed this. I was not allowed. And my school is here, right here in the national capital. I was not allowed. And when Yogi Adityanath wears saffron robe, he does not tell IPS officers to wear it too. He does not tell IS officers serving in the state to wear it too. They have ethics and the codes that they are supposed to abide by as professionals. I've been a student, like I said again, in a convent school which is right here in the national capital. I could not wear this to school. I could not wear this to school. I could not wear this to school. But however, that was a choice of school that my parents made. So yes, you can wear what you want, live your life the way you want. But if you prescribe to a particular institution, and if you say that you're duty bound to uphold the structure of the institution, then it is a responsibility that you have received unto yourself. My request is only this. Please ensure that every woman's dignity is maintained. Please ensure that we do not flaunt the law. And when I talk about flaunting the law, you have a young man hacked to death for having a view on Facebook. Please keep that also into consideration.
Now remember, Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi, while speaking on the hijab controversy, had said that whether it is a bikini or a ghungat, a pair of jeans or a hijab, it is a woman's right to decide what she wants to wear. Today the minister asked, why are such comparisons being drawn only for the sake of making a political point? So what is the real choice? That is what we must decide as a country and especially as women. The answer to this question very delightfully was given by young women in Bengaluru. They showed the way. When arriving to appear for their exams in Yelahanka, they were absolutely clear. Our religion is important to us, but our education is even more important. And when it comes to the issue of a uniform, they have no hesitation in adhering to that uniform because that is the rule, and rules and education is their focus. Nothing will be allowed to get in the way of their education and following the rules, least of all religion or hijab.
अभी जो नया रूल है जो आपको हिजाब निकालना है उसके बारे में आपको क्या बताना है?
हम कुछ नहीं, रूल्स आएगा तो हम फॉलो करेंगे, रूल्स आएगा तो हम फॉलो करेंगे, वरना हमारा रूल्स हम फॉलो करेंगे।
तो आपके लिए एजुकेशन इम्पोर्टेंट है हिजाब से ज्यादा, है ना?
नहीं, हमारा हिजाब भी इम्पोर्टेंट।
लेकिन अभी तो बोला गया आपको कि हिजाब निकालना है, तो उसमें आपको प्रॉब्लम नहीं है?
हाँ, नहीं है।
ओके,
तो रूल्स आए तक हम यही फॉलो करेंगे।
रूल्स है इसीलिए आप फॉलो करते हैं। अभी जो रूल आया है उसके बारे में आपको क्या कहना है?
नहीं, वो उसके बारे में तो कुछ नहीं कहना, बट मैम ने कहा है बाहर निकाल के तुमको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि कुछ लोग आते भी नहीं है कॉलेज इसकी वजह से।
हाँ, नहीं आ रहे हैं, कोई भी नहीं आ रहे हैं।
आप क्यों आ रहे हैं? आपको क्यों लगता है कि इसमें प्रॉब्लम नहीं है?
नहीं, हमको प्रॉब्लम नहीं है क्योंकि मैम ने कहा है।
और आपको पढ़ाई में ध्यान देना है।
हमको पढ़ना इम्पोर्टेंट है ना।
You heard this gamut of voices from a minister to these young women. Aren't they collectively calling out the opportunism and exposing the opportunism of those trying to pass off hijab as a choice? Will the Congress answer to the minister's charge that this entire bikini hijab comparison was nothing more than a slur to trivialize the very significant issue of choice just to make a political statement? And finally, haven't these real heroes, these young women, shown the way when it comes to choice? There is only one choice to make: education and the kitab.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Guru Prakash, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins us along with Ifra Jan, spokesperson of the National Conference. My first question is to you, Kamruzzuman Chowdhury, leader of the Congress. The minister is saying this is the most trivial level of politics to equate hijab, uniform and a bikini. Should there be an apology? Mr. Chowdhury, if you can hear me, should there be an apology for trivializing the issue of choice? All right, I do not think he can hear us. Can we please fix that audio? Ifra Jan, the minister actually recalled her own experience and said, I was in a convent school, I couldn't wear my sacred thread, I couldn't wear the bindi, I couldn't wear the kumkum on my forehead because the uniform didn't allow it. The uniform, let's stick to the uniform. She is a practicing Hindu who today wears all three because there is no uniform stopping her. Then how can you insist that exceptions be made to a uniform for your religion?
You see, I also went to a school, and in my school, the Sikh students wore turbans. The Hindu students, after they had done their puja, they wore tilaks, and it was perfectly okay. And we also somehow ended up graduating from good colleges. So it was never a problem unless you want to pick up it.
What did you wear? Did you wear a hijab?
Not your business. Not your business. What
you
I
are
wore
talking
is
about
not
what
your
everyone
business.
else wore. So basically the uniform allowed everyone to wear what they wanted, right?
It's not your... I am not discussing my clothes with you. No Muslim...
No, why do you get to comment on others' clothes?
I am not really...
But no one can ask you... No, ma'am, just a second.
I cannot speak like this. I
cannot How can you comment on others' clothes? You just commented on Sikhs wearing turbans, but nobody can ask you anything. Why?
I did not ask them why they were wearing turbans. Right?
I also never asked you why you were wearing hijab. I just asked, were you allowed to wear hijab?
What I wore, it's not your business.
Okay, so you wore it.
What I was wearing.
You wore it, right?
It's not your business.
So basically there was no uniform that prohibited anyone from wearing a hijab or a turban or a tilak. It's about the uniform.
God, I cannot really speak like that. You've been constantly speaking over me. Ever since the debate started, you've been constantly speaking over me. How am I supposed to even speak?
Okay, make your point.
Can you please allow me a minute to make a point?
Yes, minute. Go on.
Yes. So, thank you. Smriti Irani ji talks about her school, which is a convent. A convent is a private institution, and therefore a private institution can prescribe a uniform, and it's their choice. The schools and colleges that we're talking about in Karnataka happen to be government schools and colleges. And a government college under the law and under the constitution cannot make a rule that goes against the constitution of this country. And the constitution is very clear under Article 25. It allows everybody to profess and propagate their religion. And given the fact that some Muslim women believe that hijab is a part of their religion, as was described by Kerala High Court in 2016, they should simply be allowed to wear a headscarf to the school.
Okay.
I do not see why a headscarf is incompatible.
Now see, here's the thing, you've spoken for more than a minute, and before Guru Prakash responds to you, let me point out two glaring factual inaccuracies in your argument.
Okay.
One, 80% of the schools where the protests are taking place are private schools. Second, the Education Act of Karnataka 1985 gives the right to all schools, including government schools, to decide on their uniform after consultation with the CDC. So let's be very clear about the facts, madam. There is a uniform and each school has the right to decide the uniform. Your school allowed you to wear your hijab. Your school allowed Hindu children to wear tilak. Smriti Irani's school did not allow her to wear either. So you stick to the uniform. Period. Rules cannot be subsumed by individual demands.
Muslim women out of the education. You're simply driving
Muslim
now you're
women
shifting
out of education. I literally showed you three young women.
Gaslighting the nation.
Three young women.
Gaslighting the nation.
Ma'am, three young women who said very clearly, we choose education, nobody is putting us out. Our principal explained to...
Many girls are not coming to the education. They also said many girls are not coming to the schools.
Okay, so let me turn this around. I'm sorry, Guru Prakash, for making you wait. One last question to Ifra Jan. So did the convent school that the minister went to in her childhood try and push her out of education because it didn't allow her to wear a kaleva or her bindi? Was the convent school guilty of pushing out Hindu women from the education?
You see, if the convent school would have made a rule saying that Sikhs are not allowed to wear turbans, then it would have clearly driven Sikhs out of the schools. Because a lot of Muslims believe
why are you only focusing on Sikhs? I asked you a question about Hindus. No, don't change the goalpost. I am asking you a specific question based on a specific example. Here you have a minister quoting a personal example saying, my red thread, which most practicing Hindus wear, was not allowed in my convent. Then did her school push out Hindu girls from education?
No. If a school makes a rule that says that, for example, a married woman has to remove her sindoor, then that woman clearly will be pushing the Hindu girls and women out of education. If a school says that Sikh turbans are not allowed,
an unmarried girl also, an unmarried Hindu girl also wears a red thread.
So are you saying that married Hindu women, it's okay to have colleges make rules that women have to remove their sindoors? Are you okay with that? I am not okay with that.
Guru Prakash.
Padmaja, I have been patiently listening to my friend Ishrat for the last 5-7 minutes, and she had been making some compelling points. Ifra making some pertinent point on this issue of hijab, and she also used Constitution Article 25. Let me also remind that it is Article 14 of the Constitution that says that there must be equality, there must be rule of law, and equality means standardization. I would read a couple of lines that maker of our Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar, says about the system of hijab compared with its effects on morals. So he has made a very detailed statement in his book Pakistan or the Partition of India. So there is no point of using this garb of constitutional argument, because Constitution ensures equality. What sort of argument are you trying to make when you are depriving the Muslim women, the sisters and mothers from the Muslim community, of their basic intellectual pursuit? I want to ask Ishrat Jahan tonight, this is a very futile, medieval and archaic mindset where you are not allowing a group of students to pursue education but imposing this age-old mindset. How, as a Muslim woman yourself, can you make this argument? And also let me make this very clear that you are not the sole repository, you are not the sole representative of Muslim women of the whole country.
Okay. Number one, the Constitution of India under Article 14 that you're saying, where it says equality of laws, is applicable that the government will not discriminate among communities. For example, the government will not ask one community symbols to be removed while letting the other community symbols be. That is the kind of discrimination it talks about, not hijab. Number two, you ask, then you make a question on the hijab itself, irrespective of uniform. Let me respond to you. There are many customs in our country which some people believe are medieval and are not in tune with the 21st century. They can be the hijab, they can be gungat, they can be marriage itself, they can be women taking on their husband's surnames, they can be women moving into their husband's homes, they can be Mangal Sutra, they can be a sindoor, but it happens to be a woman's choice what she wants to wear and why she chooses to wear whatever she wants to wear. You, Guru Prakash, Mr. Guru Prakash, with all due respect to you, cannot ask me what I have to wear and what I do not have to wear.
If it's a choice, how is it? I am not going to let that one thing go, by the way. If it's a choice, how is it essential religious practice?
Okay. There are a lot of practices in Islam happen to be essential. For example, namaz happens to be essential. But that does not mean every Muslim does namaz 24/7. Many Muslims simply do not do namaz because how much religion you choose to practice in your life is your choice. For example, Hajj happens to be essential to Islam, but my parents have not gone to Hajj, my relatives have not gone to Hajj. So
but then it's not essential religious practice. Essential religious practice by its very definition has no room for choice.
You have no idea.
Essential
I'm sorry,
and
you don't
choice
understand it.
Are antithetical to each other, not just in religion.
Absolutely not.
In everything.
Absolutely not. You have an ISIS type of an understanding of religion that if it's essential
it is not about religion. It is about the English language. Essential and choice are opposite of each other.
Not. What are
you can call me ISIS, you can call me Al-Qaeda, but that won't change the English language. Madam,
essential to religion
what is essential cannot be a choice. What is a choice cannot be essential. It's as simple as that.
Okay. Are you saying that there is no choice among Muslims to go on Hajj or to not go on Hajj? Because Hajj is an essential practice of Islam.
It is a choice.
Then it's not essential to Islam. Then it's not really.
Exactly.
Hajj is not essential to Islam.
By its very definition, if you choose to do something, then it ceases to be essential. The only reason you have a choice is because it's not essential.
Then what are the essential practices of Islam? Wearing a surma and wearing a skull cap?
I never said that. Why are you trying to make it communal, ma'am? I am not going to fall into your trap.
Then what is
essential is not choice. What is choice can never be essential.
Absolutely not.
It is essential for us to get oxygen. It is not choice for us to get oxygen.
Essential to religion, madam. Essential to religion.
Essential to religion, essential to living, essential to movement, essential to existence. What is essential cannot be choice. What can be chosen is not essential.
Essential to religion. That's why it's called an essential religious practice.
It is essential for you to be connected, to be live on this show.
Take up. And the courts have decided that namaz happens to be essential to Islam. Yet many people do not do namaz.
No, then why don't people do namaz 5 times a day? How can it be an essential practice if people are not doing it 5 times a day?
Because people choose how religious they want to become. Because because you decide how religious you want to be.
Okay, quick response to that. You can choose what is essential, Guru Prakash. And then we'll move on to the next point.
What is essential?
What is essential and what you choose goes hand in hand.
Seriously.
No, let us have a very civil conversation, and on the basis of our constitutional understanding, the judgment of Kerala High Court is in front of me, and where Justice A. Muhammad Mushtaq has observed that it is purely within the domain of the institution to decide on the dress code, and they cannot impose it. Padmaja, what we need to understand here, that there is an atmosphere which is very similar to 1985. The Supreme Court of India gave a verdict on Shah Bano. This is Shah Bano 2.0. Back in 1985, the Supreme Court of India, what did it say? It said that the Muslim women who are divorced must be paid a maintenance must be paid some allowance so that they can carry on, so that they can survive. But again, under the pressure and the hegemony of radical Islamic fundamentalist forces, that verdict, the law came against that verdict by the Congress-led government. So there is a similar atmosphere going on, which we must be wary of, which we must be cautioned of. Under the garb of constitution, behind the rule of law, behind the High Court judgment, you cannot hide this deeply regressive, medieval and archaic mindset. And I'm surprised, I'm astonished that my friend who is such an articulate spokesperson, she is compelled to make or articulate perspectives in defense of hijab, when Baba Sahib Ambedkar and many social reformers have spoken against it. Let the court decide it. Let the Constitution of India. I did not speak when you were speaking. I did not speak when you were speaking. I did not speak when you were speaking. You said you have faith in Constitution and you are not allowing the other person to speak. Have some grace, have some patience, have some grace. This is not allowed. No, this is not allowed. I'm not questioning what you are wearing. That's not my domain. That's not my business. I did not make a single statement on what you are wearing. I can't even see what you are wearing. But the way you are articulating in defense of hijab, that is deeply problematic. This mindset is deeply problematic.
You need to understand what choice is.
Television and make such argument against which goes against the spirit of the Constitution.
There is something called choice.
Against the spirit of the Constitution.
Okay.
You are exposing yourself.
It
you are
absolutely
exposing
does
yourself
not.
And succumbing yourself to the radical Islamic fundamentalist forces.
You are exposing
that is
your bigoted
unfortunate.
mindset.
Well, you can keep calling people bigots, but ultimately the court will rule on it.
Constitution.
The court will rule on it, and if you are quoting from the Constitution and want constitutional values to be upheld, here is what the maker of the Constitution had said about the thing you are defending as choice. Kamruzzuman Chowdhury, now let us come to the political issue and respond to what the minister has said. Don't undermine the dignity of young girls for making a political point and say hijab, bikini, uniform, everything is a choice.
Well, Padmaja, I can't comment on Smriti Irani ji. She is a minister of our country, but she has twisted Priyanka Gandhi ji's statement in a whole scale. Why I say this? First, she said that bikini to school. This is not what Priyanka Gandhi had said. She said whether it is a bikini or a hijab or anything else for that matter, it has to be a personal choice. Congress party's stand is right to individual freedom, right to dressing, right to eating, right to schooling. All these are enshrined in our Constitution. Now, Padmaja, you tell me, or for that matter, Isha, or for that matter, Guru Prakash ji comes and tells me you have to wear a beard and wear a skull cap, then I will say I oppose it. Somebody
no, sir, but if tomorrow Guru Prakash comes to you and says wear a swimming trunk and come and sit on Times Now, then you should oppose that. And everyone should oppose it.
No, that is my individual choice.
No, it is not your choice.
Now the
I'm sorry, we won't take you on air if you wear swimming trunks and come and sit here.
It is no, I could not get
there is a dignity, and there is a public morality that also has to be upheld. If tomorrow you say I will wear swimming trunks and sit here, I'm sorry, we will not invite you.
Now the point that I want to drive here, Padmaja, the debate that we are doing out here, or the nation is debating on an issue. Now the question is, what is the priority?
But we are talking about the trivializing of the debate. To say that uniform, hijab, bikini is the same is the trivialization, sir. We are talking about children's futures, and this is the level to which the debate has been dragged down. And I'm sorry, I am guilty of doing the same by making that comparison, but this is just to underline the triviality of the argument made. You really think tomorrow we are going to say whether you wear a shirt, a t-shirt or swimming trunks, it is your choice? No, it's not.
Padmaja, you wear a jeans, I wear a lungi. How does it matter?
I don't wear it on air. I don't wear it on air.
How does it matter?
And it is not even a uniform here, but there is a dignity and there is a decency which nobody should cross.
Then what did
I will not wear it. I will not wear it on air.
Commit, na Padmaja, Padmaja, you are again speaking over me. Just let me make a quick point out here. If it is all about the uniform, then what wrong did the teacher do who was asked to remove her burqa in front of the school gates? Why this? Why are you trying to impose a culture on a community which has been very happy with their own dressing habits?
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right in pointing that out. And in fact, today, the state government in the Karnataka High Court clarified on record the government order does not apply to any teacher and it will be enforced henceforth. It was a misreading. There were mix-ups that happened, but this particular order does not apply to any of the teachers. I am completely out of time, but this is the bedrock moving forward of what the hearing is going to be. Within a few days, we are going to hear a verdict. A very important distinction has been made between culture and essential religious practices and choice. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, both gentlemen, Ifra Jan, for joining us.